to a JB Claret historical special here for the Sunday game live from Selhurst Park, the FA Cup tie between Crystal Palace and Tottenham Hotspur. And also, not only on YouTube will you be hearing this live, but for the benefit of any Facebook friends who don't have YouTube, you get to hear one of my commentaries as a one-off, just in case, as a one-off special, as an experiment today. We are simulcasting live on my Facebook page, but that is purely and simply for my Facebook friends only. But for everybody else that hasn't got Facebook with me, you can listen here on YouTube, and we welcome your comments whichever platform you're listening on today. But it's a one-off experiment, and we hope that everybody on both social media sites enjoy the match and enjoy the commentary on both stream, both Facebook or YouTube, whichever you're deciding to listen to. But it's purely and simply for all my friends who can't get on YouTube and would like to know what all the fuss is about, because they know all about my commentary, so it would be nice to hear them gain access to my commentary. If it does go off every now and again, I do apologise, but it is a marvellous occasion for this fourth round FA Cup tie. The Homestyle Road End really making themselves heard here, and it's a fantastic atmosphere, no doubt about that. So let's take a look at the two teams first of all then for this intriguing fourth round cup game, if it lives up to the billing as what it did between Millwall and Wimbledon yesterday. It should be a cracker. Speroni in goal for Palace then. This is their lineup: Ward, Kelly, Dan and Van Arnold the back four, Meyer, Kayati and Schlupp the midfield three, with Townsend, Saha left and right flanks, and Connor Wickham the main striker. Tupper, Milijevic, Sacco, Ayew, Benteke, Wan-Bissaka and Wiedewald are the substitutes this afternoon for Roy Hodgson's men. For Tottenham, very much a changed side with Gazaniga in goal, then it's Foy, Sanchez and Vertonghen the captain, then it's Trippier, Dyer, Skip and Walker-Peters in the midfield. It looks as if Trippier and Walker-Peters will be the two wing backs, so to speak. Then it's Mora and Kudu and Llorente up front. No Harry Kane, no Dele Alli, both injured. Lloris, Rose, Wiggs, Lamella, Wanyama, Uriye and Sterling are the Spurs substitutes. And I do apologise to any persons on Facebook that we have lost connection, I'm afraid. So we're going to have to win. I'm afraid we'll have to end that live video. I'm afraid the nervous experiment didn't exactly work, which is just as well really, but we're here for a game that really has a lot of passion in it. I do apologise to any Facebook listeners, but we will, anybody that listens to the game here, you can still listen here on YouTube. I'm afraid the Facebook stream unfortunately has gone for Burton, I'm afraid, so that little nervous experiment didn't really work, and it's due to communications more than anything else. But we thought we'd give it a try just to see how it went for the first few minutes. But you all now will have to listen on YouTube today, I'm afraid. It sort of makes my status there look a little bit ridiculously bad. So it's YouTube only now, I'm afraid, due to technical issues. The referee today, Kevin Friend of Leicestershire, and it's worth noting in the last 6 games between these two sides, the final outcome of the scoreline, in terms of scoreline, is finished 1-0, 5 times for Spurs, 5 wins for Spurs and 1 for Crystal Palace. So that could be a telling factor. Knowing us now, we'll probably get a 6-goal thriller. If we get anything as what we did in our live match last night between Millwall and Everton, and that was a real cliffhanger going to the last seconds when Millwall scored that late goal, well, we'll just have to see how that pans out. But it's Spurs in the white shirts, dark shorts and white socks getting us underway, and of course a special mention to Wimbledon, who we were going to cover, but unfortunately we just didn't have the cover to cover the game. Unfortunately, Chris Whiteman actually was due to commentate, but understandably he saved 3 penalties in a penalty shootout in a knockout Saturday League Cup game yesterday, and he got carried away with the celebrations, understandably so. So unfortunately we couldn't cover the Wimbledon result, but we did cover Millwall, which was a fanatic game, and it was a really enjoyable one. Here's Walker Peters. Spurs have kicked off incidentally, attacking the goal down to our left hand side. That's the Holmesdale Road end here. We're only on YouTube only. The Facebook experiment finished really before it started. The communications and the technology just didn't allow for it before we give it a go, but unfortunately it's not working, I'm afraid. So we're going to have to give that one a miss for now, and try another time. Maybe in the fifth round. Maybe in the fifth round of the FA Cup we'll have to go for it there. We did try, but we might have to do it, as I say, another time, because there just wasn't enough there, I'm afraid. So apologies to anyone who wanted to tune in on Facebook, but there will be. We're still live on YouTube, and that is a certainty. As number 7 here, Mela takes the ball. Good football again this now, but it comes to number 16 here, Walker Peters, the double-barreled hyphen name. He's got number 14 Nkundu, the former Burnley loanee, on the near side, gets the cross in and turned away for a corner. I do apologise for the phone going off there a couple of times. Messenger, they always come and annoy you on Messenger, just when you don't need it. But it's 0-0 here, and Spurs have forced the first corner of the game. Remember, only on YouTube now, I'm afraid. The Facebook experiment didn't work. Here's the corner into the penalty area from Trippier. Comes out to Walker Peters, about 25 yards from goal. Ball over to the far side now. Chance here for the cross by Mora, and in there towards Fife, but he's lost out this time. Still 0-0 here. We played just over, coming up towards 3 minutes. Trippier on the left hand side. Usually a predominantly right hand side player, Kieran Trippier. Commentated on him for most of his Burnley career, and he's a terrific little player. This is number 21 here, Foy, going forward. Be a big test for the likes of George, Kevin Nkundu and young Oliver Skipp, who's broke into the Spurs bus team. It's onside, incidentally. Were knocked out to the Asia Cup only last night, so he wouldn't have been back in time to even feature in this game today. As number 16 has it, Walker Peters plays the ball back once again, and it's for Tongan now, who's captaining the team today. Ball by Davison Sanchez. Here's young Oliver Skipp. That's a ball out towards the near side, and it's a chance here for Walker Peters to strut his stuff. Ball back inside again, and again just the ball being played at a very conservative pace. Dyer playing the ball across there. Ball played in there. This is Oliver Skipp, and again gets the ball back once again from Trippier. It looks as if it's going to be a decent first half here. The ball's threaded down the line, and a chance for Walker Peters to try and attempt to keep that in, but he couldn't succeed in doing so. And with 4 and a bit minutes gone, it's 0-0 still, as Spurs are having all the play here. Roy Hodgson's side, well, more or less still involved in the scrap to stay out of the Premier League relegation zone, along with Burnley and 1 or 2 others. Here's Ward to get it forward for Palace. He gets the ball back to Julian Speroni, who made a couple of mistakes in that classic game you may remember a week last Saturday against Liverpool, where they led a couple of times in that game, you may recall, and ended up losing 4-3. He made a couple of errors. It was his first appearance for well over a year on last Saturday, and in the main he played okay. They do have Tupper as the backup goalkeeper, no Hennessy, and he's also had a FA charge for a Nazi producing a Nazi salute on a night out, so that hasn't gone down too well with the FA here, as Lucas Moura is charged to the ball there. Chiatti brought the man down about 10 yards inside the Palace half. Moore taking the ball there, just about 10 or 15 yards there, just to the left of the centre circle when he brought him down there, getting no yellow card there. Here's Oliver Skipp into field, back to Dyer, who plays it up to the left hand side, and here's Walker Peters, left hand side for Tottenham in the white shirts, and Walker Peters past one maroon and blue Palace player, the ball back, Oliver Skipp trying the shot with his right foot from about 20-25 yards out and wide of the far right hand post for a Crystal Palace goal kick. Russ is on. Good afternoon, JB. Good afternoon to you, Russ. I'm afraid that Facebook packed up, so we'll have to do that another time, maybe another round in round 5 of the FA Cup, and we'll try that experiment again in a not too distant future. It's just that the communications are not great at this moment in time, and we're running 2 streams here at the moment. But here at Sellers Park in the Sunday game live, the third of our live FA Cup games, we saw Burnley get absolutely pulverised by City, sadly for me, 5-0. And then we covered the game against Millwall, and I want to thank Russ for that. I'm so glad that I did it, not you, because Russ was supposed to do it, but unfortunately he was very tired from all that supporting yesterday at Rotherham Leeds in the Championship. Leeds have gone top, incidentally, and the game ended up in my hands, and I'm sort of glad it all happened that way, really, because I got to commentate on a thrilling finish at the end yesterday, and it was a joy to commentate on. There has been disturbances though. Prior to the match, there was an Everton fan injured in some scuffles prior to the game at Millwall yesterday, the FA, and I'm sure the local Bermondsey police will be investigating. And then there was that terrific result for Wimbledon last night against West Ham. So big, I think we've had 12 Premier League scouts. Newcastle went out as well yesterday, and at least one of these two could go today at the big 5 or 6. Already Liverpool fell by the wayside at Wolves in round 3. Arsenal fell by the wayside to another big heavyweight, Manchester United, on Friday night, 3-1. Today, could Spurs follow suit? Oliver Skipp penalised for foul on Van Arnold. The free kick has been taken quickly, by the way. Here's Andros Townsend, who has hit some spectacular goals in big games. They beat Manchester City at the Etihad, so they're no slouches, Palace, and you can't really write them off at your pillow. As the ball is played in by Ward into the penalty area, chance inside here for Palace, and a goal for Palace. Connor Wickham from 2 yards out, and Spurs are in trouble here at Sellers Park. Connor Wickham has scored for Crystal Palace, and we may have a storybook cup tie on our hands here. Practically their first attack of the game. Ward with the crossfield ball, then the ball was taken on. It was the shot came in. It was Jeff Shrubbery who went forward. Now then, was Wickham onside? He was, I think, just. There was half-hearted appeals from Foyth to claim offside, but he stabbed it in from a yard out, and full credit to Shrub with a run now. They're just checking it with VAR, in fact, but I'm sure the goal will be given. And it's confirmed. Kevin Friends thinking there, because Connor Wickham, 9 minutes. Crystal Palace 1, Spurs 0. And remember, the last 6 games between these two sides, the final scoreline has been 1-0. Is that an omen today for Crystal Palace? 1-0 they lead Tottenham. Tottenham, who crashed out of the Carabao Cup on penalties on Thursday night, are on the verge here. Well, it's a bit early to say, but they're in trouble here this afternoon. 1-0 to Crystal Palace, and Spurs will be disgusted because they've made all the running in the opening 10 minutes, and yet Palace with their first attack have scored. But you just don't discount Palace the way they've won it. They gave Liverpool a heck of an examination last week in that 4-3 topsy-turvy game, and I think they led a couple of times in that as well, Palace. So they're no strangers to taking on top class opposition and winning. And of course they won at Manchester City with that extra missile from Andros Townsend last month. But no doubt at all about the offside just checking it out on replay, and they've got the line up there, and it looks to me as if Foyth is playing Wickham onside there. But a wonderful run, I should have to say. A big mention to Jeff Schrupp. Gets away from Davinson Sanchez. The goalkeeper should hold it for me. Not great goalkeeping by Gazaniga. And Connor Wickham, what delight for him. He's had a tough time with injuries. He's been out of the game for over a year. And all that will be worth it now. Now he's put the ball in the back of the net. And at the moment, it's even at this early stage, he's putting Palace potentially on the way to a last 16 berth in the FA Cup. The Holmesdale Road end is absolutely buzzing. They're glad all over. It's Crystal Palace 1, Tottenham 0, and a free kick going against Trippier. Well, penny for Pochettino's force. No Harry Kane, no Dele Alli through injury. His hands were tied in some respects. Remember, they had a penalty shootout just 3 days ago in the Carabao competition, and they suffered setbacks there. Just to remind you of the two benches: Tupper, Miljevic, Sacco, Ayew, Benteke, Wan-Bissaka and Riedewald for Palace. Lloris, Rose, Winks, Lamela, Wanyama, Aurier and Sterling for Spurs. No Kane, no Ali, no Son. Kane and Ali both out for long-term injuries until at least March, and Son is on his way back from Asia Cup duty. His national side knocked out yesterday. Well, no Ericsson as well on the bench, but he did play the full part on Wednesday night in the semi-final. And Spurs missed a couple of key penalties in that game, and Palace have got a corner to Tottenham's discuss, Walker-Peters in particular. And a good afternoon to Mike, good afternoon to Carbon Buses Sports as well. Nice to have you with us. And Townsend really making a good run in here. Did that come off? Well, it came off Townsend last. That should be a goal kick to Spurs, but the referee has signalled a goal corner, and that's the decision he's gone with. We do have VAR in progress here this afternoon, so opportunities here for some possible talking points here. As Townsend from the corner gets the ball, and Saha now crossing from the right hand side. It was a good crossing from the right hand side by Will Saha. Keeps it in on the right hand touchline, level with the 6-yard box of Spurs, and Saha has got to the byline. Has he kept that in? No, he hasn't, says the referee, and Spurs will be a little bit relieved there that the ball did just drift out of play. According to the referee's viewpoint, we haven't seen whether it had indeed crossed the line. We need to look at a televisual replay, but we'll take Kevin Friend's view of it and word for it. He comes from Leicestershire. I'm not sure who the officials, the VAR official is. If someone could enlighten me who it might be, the VAR official, Ross or Mike, I'd be very grateful. And it should also, well, also the stats stack up against Tottenham here, because the last time they met in the FA Cup was back in 2016 in the 5th round at Selhurst Park. Palace winning that one by a goal to nil. In fact, it was at White Hart Lane, I beg your pardon. White Hart Lane, they won it by a goal to nil. So, yes, that was a very important victory there for Palace. It also put them on the way to the final, which they almost won against United, only to lose it by 2-1. Here's Davinson Sanchez now for the Tottenham in towards Foyth. And the Spurs were trailing at Newport this time a year ago, came back to rescue a replay. We also covered Spurs almost a year ago at Rochdale, and they were trailing in that one, and they got an equaliser against them, but won the subsequent replay. What a game that was at Scotland, and I was in the commentary box that day, and my goodness me, we saw an absolute thriller there. We've got a good cracking cup tie in our hands here as Vertonghen comes forward, but Spurs finds Davinson Sanchez. Sanchez out to the far side. Lucas Moura trying to keep possession, but Palace have really trying to stifle them out at the moment. Spurs still have a good enough squad. Llorenti's an experienced striker, and Kundu I've seen a couple times when in his Burnley days. A free kick, he's not happy with the taking of the free kick, or is he wanted a word here? It was Foyth. He went in a bit hard there, and I don't think well, it was a hard tackle. I just think Kevin Friend just wanted a word there with the Tottenham centre back. Quarter of an hour gone here at 15 and a half, and it's gone here at Selhurst, and it's Palace 1, Tottenham Hotspurs 0 in the FA Cup fourth round, I should say. We've gone one round ahead of them. Fifth round doesn't convene until February, but at the moment it's going the way off Roy Hodgson's side. Who have, of course, part of the relegation battle along with several other clubs who have now actually dropped out of the FA Cup running, including Burnley and Newcastle yesterday. Southampton and Cardiff all crashed out in the third round. Huddersfield as well. They crashed out at Bristol City in the last round as well. So 12 Premier League clubs have bit the dust, including Liverpool and Arsenal. And Spurs could be the third high-profile casualty at this moment in time if the things stay as they are in this season's FA Cup competition. Spurs without a trophy since 2008, rather, when they won the Carabao Cup. So 11 years without a trophy for one of the big clubs is not entirely great. And obviously Pochettino's had his hands well and truly tied because of the move back to White Hart Lane, the new White Hart Lane, of course, which is taking more delays than the building of the new Wembley took. But the FA Cup competition now, at least we don't have to cover Burnley in some respects. We can be strictly neutral now in this channel in terms of FA Cup action. But my team may be out, and we were absolutely disgraceful yesterday, but the romance of the competition will never die. With teams like Millwall and AFC Wimbledon keep pulling off shock results, Shrewsbury so close to a shock result against Wolverhampton Wanderers yesterday. Here's Moura now for Spurs. Oh, good effort from around about 25 yards out, just to the right of centre with his right foot. He hit that with a terrific bit of venom and just cleared Julian Speroni's crossbar. It was a fantastic hit by Moura, who's got it in his locker. He has scored one or two spectacular goals already this season in the Premier League, and that was almost one for the repertoire, but unfortunately the ball just didn't dip and it sailed a couple of inches over the bar into the Helmsdale rail stand behind Speroni's goal. Palace have in fact lost their last 3 cup ties against top flight opposition as well. So anything could still happen. Spurs lucky to reach the fourth round for the fifth round for the fifth consecutive year. The last time they did that, the last season they did it was 82-83. They got to the fifth round against Everton. And of course 79-80, 80-81, 81-82. They also, well, 80-81 and 81-82. They won the FA Cup. Both after replays. Here's a shot coming in. Oh, Gazzaniga taking that one from Van Hoda, stringing the palms of the goalkeeper, who caught it well. Left-footed drive from around about 25 yards out, and in fact sails in. Tottenham would have been on the brink there, and it swerved rather viciously in front of him, so Gazzaniga was very much alive there. Might be at fault for the first goal, but he may have made amends there a little bit as we come up towards 19 and a half minutes of the first half here in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Remember, if it does end a draw today, it will be a replay a week and a half from now. No extra time or penalties required this afternoon. Replay will be required if it does end a draw today. They will have a second goal, and it will be the last round in fact of this season's FA Cup where they will have a replay, because from the fifth round onwards it's got to be decided first time of asking whether it's through 90 minutes extra time or penalties, but that comes up in the next round. And incidentally folks, if you're wondering what the FA Cup draw will be, it will be made about 7:20 tomorrow evening, and we'll have the draw live for you as well. Conducting the draw will be Ian Wright and Alex Scott, former Arsenal legends. Alex Scott winning 7 women's FA Cups with the Arsenal ladies team, and Ian Wright, an FA Cup winner in 1993 and 1998. the moment it's Spurs winning or losing the game by a goal to nil with 20.5 minutes gone, and we're bringing that draw. Mark Chapman incidentally will introduce the draw, but I'll introduce the actual programme for half an hour around about 7:10, 7:15 tomorrow evening. And then on Panini's channel he'll have the Barnet Brentford tie for you on his channel tomorrow evening. And here's Vertonghen now for Spurs. 21 minutes gone in this fourth round cup tie. Several games have gone to a replay, all of them being played a week on Tuesday. I've got a slight feeling it might be a week on Wednesday if it does go to a replay in this one, but at the moment as things stand it's Crystal Palace going through at the moment by a goal to nil, but there's a long way to go here. Here's Walker Peters on the left hand side, back inside it goes to Vertonghen. Spurs still playing their patient passing move, but no real urgency at the moment from Spurs, which will play right into Crystal Palace's hands here. Eric Dyer now to the far side. Can Trippier get something going with a decent cross? Trippier playing the ball in, and in the end Palace didn't take any chances, and it's hooked behind. I think it was Martin Kelly who got it away. Speroni reckons he should have caught that. Panini disagrees that the replay should not have been scrapped for the fifth round. It's just basically because of the fixture congestion and everything else, because of the Champions League, and everything now has been made way just to suit UEFA's purposes. And of course there's the Europa League, Chelsea very much involved in that. They play incidentally Sheffield Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and that will be live on terrestrial television, so you'll be able to watch that on Match of the Day as Nkundu takes out his man, and it's a free kick to Crystal Palace. Coming up towards the halfway mark here on the JB Clark YouTube channel. Fourth round FA Cup, our third live tie of the weekend. The Sunday game live from Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. And so far so good if you are of a Crystal Palace persuasion. Speroni takes the kick, right footed, flicked on there. Attempting to flick on was Connor Wickham, and the ball was ushered back to the other goalkeeper, Gazzaniga. Now Manchester United made several changes but still remain full strength from one. Same could be said of Manchester City. I was very amazed when they went full strength. It was to my surprise and my horror as a Burnley fan that that was the case. I still maintain that Kyle Walker tackle should have been a red. But here's Townsend now this afternoon for Palace, and that's a good little ball there towards Ward, but he can't keep that in play. Palace finding a little bit of joy in the right hand channel here. And Andros Townsend, and VAR is Lee Mason of Bolton. Thank you very much, Mike, for sounding that out for us. You see, the problem with these sort of FA Cup games, you don't really know publicly what ties are there for VAR, so it makes it very difficult when you're preparing for a live commentary to know whether you've got video referees or not. I do agree with Marco Silva that VAR should be introduced for all FA Cup ties and not just the odd 9 or 10. It is interesting to see, and I must agree with the consensus that Millwall's second goal should not have been allowed to stand because of the fact that it was handled into the net. Whether it was accidental or not, it's still handball, and I don't want to take the loss of Millwall's fantastic result because it was well deserved. Let's not detract from that fact, but the fact of the matter is, the heart of the matter is this: if that handball goes, if VAR's on there, that gets wiped out straight away as far as I'm concerned in terms of the goal. But at the moment it's 1-0 to Tottenham. No, 1-0 rather to Crystal Palace over Tottenham, I should say. I've been at the Sunday roast a bit today here. It's Mailer playing the ball forward. It's a bitterly cold afternoon here in deepest South London, in Croydon. Well, Sahar now takes possession just to the left of the centre circle on the far side, but Again, the move breaks down. Eric Dyer now looking to spread the play towards the left hand side, and it's Walker Peters again trying to take on his man, which is Ward, and he's brought the man down steer as Ward. So a free kick here in a promising position for Spurs. They haven't really troubled Speroni. There was just that one effort from around about 22 yards just to the right of the D by Lucas Moura that just cleared the crossbar. Apart from that though, they haven't really done much, Tottenham, which is a little bit alarming here. But they have a chance here from a set play, and as we saw yesterday, Millwall made good advantage of that. So here's an opportunity now for Trippier, who I took great joy in commentating on the World Cup semi-final when he scored that magnificent free kick. Trippier in fact goes short here, and it's Nkundu, the former Burnley loanee. He's completely lost it, and here's a chance now on the break, and it's Townsend leading the charge, but he just showed too much of that to Eric Dyer, who swept up any all-comers, including Andros Townsend there, who was making a good charge but just had a heavy first touch, really, the Crystal Palace man. Now Walker Peters on the left hand side for Spurs, deep inside Palace territory. Back to Skip, Oliver Skip. Now Davinson Sanchez, a little bit asking a lot there of Skip, and he felt Oliver Skip was fouled, but no, said the referee. Now Will Sahar from Connor Wicken's pass, back inside again. Palace now just need to keep possession and run Tottenham a little bit ragged if they can now. They've got this 1-goal lead, and we're coming up towards 27.5 minutes. This is Ward for Palace, plays a 1-2. Ward gets it to the gap again. Now Scott Dan in towards Chiatti. Chiatti now looks up for any all-comers, and the ball goes back to Martin Kelly. Now Ward, big opportunity here for Ward to come forward, finds Townsend, gets it out of his feet, finds Myler. Now Kelly again to Ward, and Ward again looking for Townsend on the overlap if he can, but he's gone long towards Connor Wickham, and the ball's too long too long there, and it was never going to reach Connor Wickham, and the ball runs straight to Gazzaniga. Crystal Palace 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0 in the FA Cup 4th round here on the JB Clark YouTube channel. And a free kick against Will Sahar, or throw in against Will Sahar in Crystal Palace. 28 gone. Goal after 9 minutes from Connor Wickham that has really put the cat amongst the pigeons here, where we've already seen Arsenal, Spurs as North London rivals fell by the wayside against a rampant Manchester United on Friday night. Now they're the ones in trouble here themselves. Spurs already dumped out of the Carabao semi-finals on penalties by Chelsea on Thursday night at Stamford Bridge. Now they could be on the verge of entering the unenviable task of losing this game here as well, unless Walker Peters and Nkundu can put a good cross in there. Was blocked away, came to Oliver Skip. Now Nkundu again. Here's Walker Peters, left hand side, tricky little player into Dyer, edge of the area, back outside to the left hand side, and it's Walker Peters. Now for Tongan. Spurs again just going backwards. Palace really frustrating here. And here's Davinson Sanchez. Sanchez once again. Trippier needs to get a good ball in there. They've gone out towards the left hand side again. They feel that Walker Peters might be a better outlet here. Nkundu back to Walker Peters once again. Now Dyer into Moura. Big chance here for Spurs if they can get the ball forward towards Llorente. They almost got it through, but in the end it came away once again. Here's number 21, Foyth, who tried to appeal over Gameway against the offside, which didn't work against Wickham when he scored his goal after 9 minutes. Half an hour gone, still Palace 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. The Eagles amongst the chickies. Well, it's actually a cockerel, but it's the same premise, I suppose, Mike. Right, half an hour gone. Palace 1, Spurs 0 here, live on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Remember, we've got the 4th round draw to come tomorrow, so there'll be a half-hour live stream with the draw being made by Ian Wright and former Arsenal and England women's player Alex Scott. They'll be conducting the draw, and Mark Chapman will be presenting that draw a bit later on as Laurenti goes forward, but it's well put out by a very lightning fast Jimmy Speroni. He's now into his 40s now. He's been around for a long time. Former Dundee goalkeeper as well. Came to Palace from Dundee in August of 2004. Has been at the club now for 16 years. He's been through their years in the Championship and recent time here in the Premier League now, which is into their. They've been in now since 2014. This is their 6th season in the top flight now, Crystal Palace. So they're having a good little run in the Premier League. Before that, previous Premier League campaigns, they always tended to go down after just one season, Palace. But they've stayed in there. They have had a succession of managers under Steve Parish, the likes of Ian Holloway, Sam Allardyce, and one or two others. Alan Pardew was certainly one. Tony Pulis kept them up the first year, and really it was one of those things. But they've had a succession of managers. Ronald de Boer only lasted 4 games a year ago. I remember watching his final game, his Palace boss, live at Turf Moor a year ago when Pope played it out of his skin. You may remember that day and on that Sunday afternoon in early September. Well, Sahardo doing terrifically well. When he's on his game, Palace are unstoppable. And Davinson Sanchez there, looks as if he pushed him, and Kevin Friend, well, maybe Will Sahardo, well, his reputation goes before him. He does tend to make a meal of trying to win 3 kicks and the like. And maybe the referee was a bit unmoved by that piece of free actions. But here's Townsend on the left hand side. Now Will Sahar. And he's whipped across in there looking towards Wickham. And he couldn't be fouled. They claim handball, Crystal Palace. And I think the referee agrees. It's a penalty against Walker Peters for hands. And Palace potentially here, if VAR backs up their claim, have a chance to go 2-0 ahead. I think Kevin Friend will check it with Lee Mason. Let's have a look. Oh yes, hand up in the air, and that for me is a penalty. He's clearly stopped that, I'm afraid, Walker Peters. I don't think he can have a case. That's a penalty. And Andros Townsend will take the penalty. Kevin Friend lining up the penalty. So I think Lee Mason, the VAR official, would have agreed with that. But there's no doubt about it. It was a penalty, clear penalty for me. And Spurs here are in big danger of going 2-0 down. And Andros Townsend, who scored some important goals already for Palace in the league against City and Liverpool in recent weeks, has a chance now to put Tottenham closer to the FA Cup exit door. Left footed, 12 yards. Real chance here. Gazzaniga must stay on his line. He can move across it. Here's Townsend. Left foot. Sends the keeper the wrong way. And Townsend goes down the middle. The goalkeeper went the wrong way. And Crystal Palace lead Tottenham Hotspur in the 4th round of the FA Cup by 2 goals to 0. And Walker Peters will have to pay for his stupidity there. Call it you like. Down the middle. Left foot, cool as you like, bang! Hit that with some ferocity, and the Harmsdale fanatics love that one. Oh, now Spurs are in a tie. Oh, what? But the Walker Peters, what was he thinking of there? Clear handball, as you'll see. VAR backed it up. And I think the referee and the VAR official Lee Mason were completely bang on the money. No doubt about the decision. Clearest penalty, as you'll see all weekend in my book. 2-0 to Crystal Palace. Spurs have been nowhere. They've had the possession and stuff like that, but they've only mustered one real opportunity, and that was Lucas Moura's long-range effort that went over the bar. Now Palace are on the verge of making it a complete humiliation here. If they get another one here, Palace, I fear it's game over for Spurs, and they'll just have the league and the Champions League to compete for. And there's no guarantees in that. Spurs have got a tough draw in that as well. That comes back next month, of course. So it's Crystal Palace 2, Spurs 0. And here it's Will Sahar now running at that fragile Tottenham defence. And here's a chance now inside the area. It's Townsend! Townsend shoots, saved by Gazaniga. That was the tie there for the taking. And oh, that could be a turning point there. Gazaniga has kept Tottenham in the FA Cup for sure there. Townsend, who scored some massive goals against top quality opposition. Two he got against City at the Etihad. He got a spectacular goal against Liverpool last Saturday. A penalty here today, and he almost made it a second one for him personally, and Palace is third, but it still remains 2-0. Will that be the wake-up call that Tottenham Hotspur desperately need? Here's Oliver Skip now to Lucas Moura on the right hand side, back inside to Oliver Skip, poor touch by the youngster. Then Palace made a little bit of a dog's dinner getting away through Van Arnold. Now Moura back to Dyer, now Trippier. Something needs to happen here. Can Trippier get a good ball in there? He's gone short there to Dyer. He needs to play the ball in. He needs to get Dyer on it now. Dyer. Spurs playing these intricate short passes. It's just not coming off for them. It's not working. It's simply not coming off. 2-0. And I have to say, I think Palace deserved this lead. I think there's no issue with that whatsoever. As the long ball comes forward by Vertonghen, looking towards Trippier, who can't keep it in. Poor ball, really. Poor long ball. But how crucial could that save from Gazaniga prove? Townsend looked to make it three. He's hit it. The only criticism I would say, he's hit it straight down the keeper's throat. And that has just kept Spurs in the tie for now. But I think Palace have created the better opportunities. Yes, they've been second best on possession, but that doesn't care. That doesn't really matter, because they've had more shots. They've had 5 shots at goal and 5 have all come on target. Spurs have had 2 and none on target, and that's the crucial statistic. And not only that, they're 2 up. They've been superb today, Crystal Palace, in terms of their shooting, and every shot they've tried has hit the target. And Spurs have well been off colour, and they clearly are missing Son, they're clearly missing Harry Kane, and they're clearly missing Dele Alli. 3 key players. And well, Spurs, who scored 7 goals in the last round at Prenton Park against Tranmere, well, they're finding it even more. They're finding it tough going here. Oh, a chance here, possible penalty, is it? Free kick, I think, has been given. I think it was just outside. I think it was a foul there on the edge of the penalty area. Let's see who it was. It was Mela, and it was just on the outskirts of the penalty area. Another yard or 2 inside there. The referee may have been liable to order another penalty there, this time for Spurs, but it's a couple of yards out on the edge of the D, and it's inside the D. It's inside the D, but a yard or 2 outside the penalty area. Speroni making sure he's safe. Now Trippier, if he can produce a 3 kick like he did in the World Cup semi-final, and he gets it in and up and down the wall and in the net, then we could have a tie back on again with a vengeance. Be great for the game as well, but it'd be tough on Crystal Palace really. But the referee just making sure that the Palace ball is back a full 10 yards, which is delaying the kick of this taking of the free kick here. It's not helping Spurs at all. I think Kevin Friendly's referred to the fact that he got blood or a cut nose there, and I think he's trying to get him to come off. There's a physio out there as well. We've got a slight delay here while he's being patched up here. One of the Palace players, I can't tell who it is. It's Ward, in fact, number 2. So it's all happening here in this first half. You can't say our YouTube channel brings you dull FA Cup ties, can you? Well, his next task will be, well, Ward is now off the pitch and he's absolutely furious, but the rule states, and the rules are a bit of a silly, it is a silly ruling, but that's FIFA for you. But it's a free kick. Palace have got a 5-man wall erected. There's a couple of others on the end. Spurs have 2 or 3 in that long wall. There's actually quite a long wall with about 7 or 8 different players from either side. Well, Speroni gets a good view of this from his point of view, but Trippier will fancy this. Can he produce a goal of significance, importance as well? Oh, he's gone short there. That's cleverly done. A good save, and over. And over. Nkundu with the first effort. Saved brilliantly by Speroni. And then Nkundu clapped the second one. And it goes wide. Everyone thought it was going to be taken. No one picked up Nkundu. And in fact, it was a double save from Julian Speroni. I think I gave him less credit than he... I think I underestimated him there. Should have given him more credit for that. I didn't realise it was a double save. I've got to say, I think Speroni deserves a bit more credit than what I gave him. 5 minutes to go to half time. Spurs have missed a clear chance. It's their first couple of shots on goal, by the way, but Speroni was up to the challenge even at the ripe old age of 40. Second corner for Spurs. Into the penalty area it goes, and hooked out for another corner this time. And it was Ward, who's now back on the field incidentally, who hooked it out. 4.5 minutes to go. Trippier to take the corner. Everyone thought Trippier was going to line up a shot. He spotted Nkundu one side and unmarked, but he couldn't take the chance, the former Burnley. Into the penalty area it goes, and it will come now, thankfully for Crystal Palace's stake, to Mela, and Mela can knock the ball up towards halfway. Intercepted though by Walker-Peters. Well, we'll just have to see whether... Well, Chelsea have still got to win their game tonight. That's not a given against Sheffield Wednesday. Before you can think about potentially drawing Millwall at the new day, you've got to beat Sheffield Wednesday at Stamford Bridge tonight. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff live on terrestrial television on Match of the Day. Two magnificent saves from Julian Speroni, preserving Palace's clean sheet in their 2-goal cushion. Trippier with a free kick though, which they've won on the right hand side into the penalty area again. Kelly with the first header, then the second header. A little game of head tennis on the edge of the Palace penalty area, and he's ordered a penalty. Oliver Skip was brought down, and Kevin Friend has ordered a penalty. Palace aren't happy, and Spurs have a chance potentially to get back into this game. Now, the only thing it was Boyce, in fact, it was brought down, not Oliver Skip. Well, what will VAR say about that? Was that a penalty or not? Well, that's down to Lee Mason's discretion, and I think the penalty decision stands. To Van Arnold's discussed and Crystal Palace's discussed, but the referee and the VAR referee have ordered a penalty, and Trippier will take the penalty here with 2 minutes of the first half to go. They're just double checking. Now, we don't want a situation that we did in the last round at Burnley when Matty Vidra was preparing to take a penalty against Barnsley, and then all of a sudden the referee decided to chalk the penalty off. But I think this one isn't going to be chalked off. It's Trippier, right-footed. You'll fancy him here against Julian Speroni. This has to go for Spurs here. He's up against it here at the Olmsted Road end, and they'll make it as very difficult for Trippier as they possibly can here. And the man affectionately known as Trips has a chance to put Spurs back in the FA Cup tie in the dying stages of the first half. Speroni dances across his line. It's a shortish run up, but it will be a right-footed penalty. Trippier shoots. Oh, he's missed it! He's missed it! And it's Spurs luck about to run out in the FA Cup. Kieran Trippier is such a reliable dead ball specialist. Scored in that penalty shootout, went for England in the World Cup last year against Colombia. Has failed from 12 yards, and Speroni wasn't required to make a save. He went about 2 yards wide of the post. Unbelievable. And it's not Spurs' week, is it? Crashing out the Carabao Cup on penalties, ironically, and today 2-0 down, and now they've missed a penalty. When it's not your week and not your day and not your month, you know that the season may be doomed to be another year of trophy famine for Spurs, who haven't won a trophy since winning the League Cup in 2008. They haven't won the FA Cup since 1991, when Paul Gascoigne got them all the way to Wembley, and they won the final through Des Walker's own goal. They are not destined to go far than the fourth round of things stand, but we've seen We've seen crazy things happen. As Jimmy Greaves used to say, it's a funny old game. We're into stoppage time, incidentally, for which we have 2 minutes, and we've got 20 minutes of the, or 20 seconds, sorry, of the first. We'll take a 10-minute break to recuperate for what's been a remarkable first half, where 2 penalties were awarded. 2 penalties were awarded. One was scored by Andros Townsend to make it 2-0 to Crystal Palace after Connor Wickham had put Palace in front from short range with his right knee. And then Trippier just a few moments ago with his right foot blazing one wide of the left-hand post to Giulio Speroni, who actually did dive the right way as well, funnily enough. But here's Llorente inside the area, but back came Scott Dan. Terrific defending there, and Ward as well. Terrific performance this from Crystal Palace. Defensive rearguard action. Well, this has been amazing, and an amazing cup tie. And we've got about 50 seconds of the first half left. Here's Trippier prepares to take a corner on the right hand side. Far side as we look. Trippier with a flattish shot of delivery. It was not a good corner from his high standards, and I've seen him take better corners than that in the Claret and Blue of Burnley. And here come Palace now on the break. A third goal will surely wrap it up before half time, you would think. That's surely a foul there on the Palace player, but the referee plays on. No free kick ordered. 20 seconds of the 2 minutes to go of stoppage time. Walker Peters now for Nkundu. Back to Walker Peters on the left hand side. It's 2-0 to Crystal Palace. It's an amazing turn of events. 10 seconds of stoppage time to go in the first half. Palace leading Tottenham, remember, by 2-0. Wickham and Townsend from the penalty spot. We played the 2 minutes. Surely Kevin Friend won't add anything extra. He adds only the 5 seconds on, and a lot of soul searching for Mauricio Pochettino to do here. Spurs had a lot of possession, they had a lot of the chances. They had 2 goal-edge opportunities, but Connor Wickham got the first one, and then Townsend from a penalty for a clear handball by Walker Peters gave him a 2-0 lead. Then Van Aanholt brought down Foyth in the area. The referee ordered a second penalty. Trippier topped that penalty with his right foot and blazed it a couple of yards wide of the post. Before that, they had a free kick which Trippier played it across towards the left-hand post, where Nkundu was onside and unmarked. He had 2 bites of the cherry but couldn't beat Speroni, who made a superb double save. It's all happened here in the first 45 minutes. If the second half lives up to what we've seen in the first, boy, are we in for some second half here. We're going to take a 10-minute break. I think we all need to lie down from this. We'll take a break. Excuse me, we'll take a break for 10 minutes. And we'll come back with the full second half of Crystal Palace against Tottenham. But the half-time score here in an amazing first half at the boisterous Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 2, Spurs 0, and we'll be back after the break in 10 minutes from now. Welcome back everybody to the second half. We've had a little bit of a breather, we've had a little bit of a lie down, a little bit of a break, and Spurs are about to make a substitution. They've sacrificed the defender here, that's Jan Vertonghen, and they're going to put another attacking element into the game for them. Eric Lamela on for the start of the second half. That is the big news at half time. But it's a big second half in store for Spurs now. They've got 45 minutes to score twice, to even force a replay in the FA Cup, because at the moment Palace are 2 up, and deservedly so. Trippier had the chance to reduce the arrears just on the stroke of half time, but his penalty was wide of the left hand upright as Julian Speroni. But it's Palace getting us underway and attacking their faithful Holmesdale ultras in the second half. Holmesdale fanatics they call themselves. Boy, did they play their part in that first half there for Crystal Palace. This is Will Sahar down the left hand side in towards Kiate. Now, a chance here inside the penalty area. Townsend knocks it back across, and already an opportunity there potentially for Palace. It just goes astray down. Now in Kundu now for Tottenham, 2-0 down, and with 30 seconds, winning 30 seconds, it could have easily been 3-0 down. It just needed to be a better cross, maybe a cross from the left from Townsend. Just couldn't find Connor Wickham. It was back behind Connor Wickham in the end. Palace, you will not be surprised to hear them change. So this is the team now as we've got it now. Gazzaniga for Spurs, Foyth, Sanchez, Trippier, Dyer, Skip, Walker, Peters, Mora, and Kundu Llorente, and now Eric Lamela, the Argentinian. Palace, Speroni, Ward, Kelly, Branano, Mela, Kiate, Schwab, Townsend, who got the second, Wickham and Saha. As the ball is threaded in towards the Palace penalty area, but it's an easy one there for Julian Speroni, made 2 magnificent saves to deny George's Kevin Kundu in the first half from close range, point blank range I should say. Well, Arsenal and Liverpool already at this stage have fallen by the competition. Liverpool went out to Spurs in the 3rd round as the kick is long, not very convincing by Speroni, but it just about did the job. Excuse me. Now then, Van Arnold. He's lost out this time to Lamela. Now Spurs really need to pull out all the stops in the second half, not dilly-dally about, and that is a poor ball. That is a poor ball. If that was intended for Walker Peters, that was a poor ball. Foyth with the ball just wasn't good enough, and that has been the theme so far for Spurs. Just not their day. But here come Spurs now. They have to play without fear now. They must do. This is Oliver Skip now, the young's 19-year-old. They need something here in the second half to make a game of it. They thought they had it through Trippier and the penalty that they got ordered in their favour, but I suppose when things don't go your way, that's the way of the world. And here's Trippier onside. No, he is offside. The linesman on the near side, well positioned. And Trippier there just showing he's not having one of his better days. Yes, half a yard off. Good decision again from the near side official. Did really well there, the linesman on the near side. Really good decision there. So Lamela will play in the midfield, and in behind Llorente will play in the central of midfield, we're told, as the ball is hooked back towards Gazzaniga. Fault possibly for the first one, he could have handled it better, and in the second one had no chance when the penalty flashed venomously down the middle by Townsend, and he showed Kieran Trippier really how to take a penalty in a lot of respects. Spurs now attacking the goal to our right, incidentally. Just to remind you of the colours, Spurs are in white shirts, dark blue shorts and white stockings. Palace in their maroon and blue stripes with light blue shorts and light blue stockings. Here's Trippier now for Spurs on the right hand side, infield towards Lamela. They need a little bit of an attacking intent now. Here's Oliver Skip. Didn't really have the best first half of his young career. He's a good prospect here at Spurs, I'm told by a lot of people that are Spurs supporters. He's got a good future ahead of him if he applies himself and does well. Here's Lamella touching it on to Dyer. Now Lamella back to Trippier. Trippier now on the right hand side, back in field towards Dyer. Good cross. Oh, the chance inside the 6-yard box, and Ward was in there and he's hurt himself. Well, Ward has been in the wars, and so too on this occasion is Lucas Moura. Both will need medical attention as we come up to 4.5 minutes gone of the second half. Still 2-0 to Crystal Palace, as we just see again on replay. Lucas Moura going for that ball, evaded Llorente, but Ward got there first with the header, and then they had a little bit of a collision there, Ward and Moura. Nothing too sinister, just purely accidental, and both players, I'm pleased to say, are both up and on their feet and received the necessary treatment, and we'll be able to get on with the game pretty swiftly now with 5 minutes of the second half gone. This is Tottenham's 6th corner from the right hand, this time from the right hand side. Trippier to take. They need a goal back here, Spurs, if they're going to have any hope at all of getting back into this tie. They've been second raters today, really, in terms of opportunities. Here's Trippier, he's gone short to Nkundu. Now this needs to be a good cross by Nkundu towards the far post, but it's not. It's nodded away, and now Palace have got a chance here to break now down the centre, but Connor Wickham could not be found. Here's the ball out now towards Nkundu, and then this needs to be a good ball in there towards Llorente. It'll come here for Trippier on the right hand side. He'll let that go for another corner. That's Spurs' 7th now in the game. All in all, and it's their 2nd already of the second half. We've been playing now for almost 6 minutes of the second half. Spurs have another corner, 2nd in succession. Can they've got to profit from one of these set plays at some point. Trippier with the corner. Will he go short? No, he's gone long into the penalty area this time, and it's absolutely gone over everybody, and Mailer can pick the ball up now and bring it away now for Crystal Palace. And that is the way of the world it goes sometimes. It's 2-0, it remains. It's a poor ball really in all aspects of it, in the true sense of the word. And Walker-Peters has been fouled, but it is a throw-in. It's 2-0 now to Spurs, 2-0 now against Spurs. They're in big peril here. They need a goal within 15 minutes of the restart to give themselves a chance of a real comeback here in this FA Cup. They've got to take inspiration from somebody like Millwall as the shot comes in, and good effort there from Lorenzi with his left foot. Might have got a slight deflection, which made it quite awkward for Julian Speroni. But what he did well. He takes a deflection, yes, of Chieti. Hits it right-footed just to the right of the penalty spot. It was going in the left corner. Deflection was taking it there, but Speroni, the 40-year-old, rolling back the ears to make another smart save. Now then, Trippier with the 9th corner now for Spurs. Into the penalty area this one goes. Flicked on there by Moura. It'll come here for Townsend and Sarr to hook it away for Palace. It's Walker-Peters now for Spurs. Trippier, who took the corner, the original corner, has to go back to Davison Sanchez. Now Foyth. Foyth back inside to Dyer. Foyth to Dyer on the right hand side. Filling in for Trippier, it looks like, as the ball is threaded in towards the penalty area. And now the ball comes out to Eric Lamella. Lamella, right hand side. Goes into the penalty area, tries to get a dinking little cross into the penalty area, but away come Crystal Palace with Jeff Schrupp. And he did magnificently well, Jeffrey Schrupp. And now here goes Andros Townsend, who's had a magnificent game here for Crystal Palace. He's had 1 goal to his name from the penalty spot. Should have had a second as the ball was laid in almost towards Mailer, who could have made it 3. But again, this time better defending organisation here from Spurs. And now it's becoming an open game. Spurs must attack now for the remainder. Walker-Peters to Nkundu, back to Walker-Peters on the left hand side, the far side as we look here at Selhurst Park. Lamella through the centre, tries to play the ball towards Llorente, try to find Lucas Moura, whose early season form has really deserted him. Oh, that looked a horrible tackle there on Townsend, and Sanchez may well go in the book for that. Kevin French reaching into his pocket, digs out the yellow card, and I think the referee was right. Townsend was away here, and it was late. The ball is gone, and just shy of the halfway line, Sanchez gets a booking. It's definitely too far out for an instant red card, but the intent there was to play the man and not the ball. What it does do is buy a bit of time and an opportunity for Spurs to get significant numbers back, and this really now gives them a chance. As Chelsea now, as the Chelsea fan there, I'm forgetting his name, but he's off to Stamford Bridge. That game incidentally kicks off at 6 o'clock live on Match of the Day on terrestrial television. That's another foul surely there on Will Sahar, I think, but the referee said no, and it's Lamela now through the centre, and Kunda inside the area shoots, and again Scott Dan and Martin Kelly have really thrown their bodies on the line, if you like, for Crystal Palace today. 2-0, it might be a deserved scoreline for Crystal Palace, maybe more, but Kelly and Dan have certainly been involved in the action, and when Speroni's had to do whatever Speroni's had to do, he's done it terrifically well. The Palace back four and the goalkeeper have had marvellous games. And speaking of marvellous games and all that, in about 10 minutes or so from now, we'll be asking you to place your votes for the JB Man of the Match Award. I'll give you details in a second, because Spurs are on the break here with Lucas Moura, who goes down. And now what's the referee giving here? Is he ordered a penalty, or is it just outside? It looks as if it's just outside. Couldn't have been much in it there. Trippier reckons it's inside the box, hence why he wants a penalty ordered. Now, was this inside or out? Oh, it's right on the line. But I think the initial collision, the initial late tackle just took that place outside the area. Just not a lot to spare, though. Moura made a little bit of a meal of it. But the referee, no penalty for me. I think it was right not to give the penalty first up, but a free kick's probably about right. Higuain, in fact, makes his debut for Chelsea in the 6 o'clock game. Of course, tomorrow night there's Brentford away at Barnet. Panini will be bringing you that one live on his YouTube channel, the football channel he calls it now. Hazard, in fact, not in the 16 tonight. I'm not surprised after the shift he put in the other night in the Carabao. Well, it's Lamela over free kick duties now. Trippier's there too, to the right of the day. 1 yard in from the edge of the penalty area. Left foot of the Argentinian here, you fancy. This needs to go in for Spurs if they're going to keep their FA Cup hopes alive. Lamela strikes it, it hits the wall. It hits the wall. Lamela chips it in again. Dan gets it only half away. And Kunda in the area. Palace must not go in rash here, but he's got to retreat it. And now Foyth. Now a chance now for Lamela. Poor free kick from the Argentinian. He has to pirouette and turn. He finds Foyth now. Needs to be a good cross. He's got inside. It's touch back to Lamela. Lamela hits it with his left foot, and he hits it wide of the right hand post of Speroni. And behind for a goal kick for Crystal Palace. Wow, dear. And you just get the sense even now, as we're 3 minutes shy of the hour mark of this FA Cup fourth round tie, it just looks as if Spurs' luck may well just be running out here. And they're a good sized Spurs, but all those injuries to Harry Kane, to Dele Alli and to Son have really not helped their cause in all aspects of it. But at least they're having a go in the second half. But Walker Peters can't keep that in on the far side, just midway inside the Crystal Palace half. And Palace will get the throw in. Well, he's already tried out Umelo. He's got left on the bench. Roy Hodgson yet to make a change at the moment. He's got left. He's got to choose from. Tupper, the goalkeeper. Miljevic, Sacco, Ayew, the striker. Benteke, boy, wouldn't it be a turn up if he scored. Wan-Bissaka and Riedewald. Spurs have got left now. Out of there, they've used one substitute. They've got two left, and they can use from Lloris, the goalkeeper, Rose, Winks, Wanyama, Aurier, and Sterling. In fact, Connor Wickham, just a side note there, first goal for over 700 days for Spurs as they go looking for another penalty. Now then, what's the referee giving here? I think he's telling the Palace player to get to his feet. A yellow card has been awarded. It was Jeff Schrupp that went forward, Now then, was this a penalty? Well, he's been pushed over there for me. I reckon that's a penalty, although it's just outside. In fact, it is a free kick, so it's just outside the box. I thought the referee had booked Schrupp initially for a simulation, but it was far from the case. And Pfeiffer's got the booking instead as he come towards an hour mark. George Boyd, in fact, starts for Sheffield Wednesday today. Former Stevenage and Burnley player as well. Going to prominence at Burnley. Scored the winning goal, you may remember, against Manchester City in March 2015 to give them a famous victory over Manchester City. But it's a free kick and it's taken by Townsend off the wall. Townsend again trying the spectacular. In fact, it wasn't. It was might have been Schrupp, in fact, trying the double free kick. And it's hard to believe that he actually people, what people don't realise about Jeffrey Schrupp actually is that he was formerly of Leicester, and he was a big cog in their title winning side of 3 years ago when they won the Premier League unexpectedly under Claudio Ranieri, who's now got a big job on at Fulham. They also lost in the third round 2-1 to Oldham, and Oldham were done by VAR rather controversially, I thought, yesterday against Doncaster Rovers. That should have gone to a replay at Boundary Park for me, because I think Oldham deserves something from that tie. But here's Lucas Moura for Spurs. They need a miracle as well as VAR. They need snookers at the moment. Half an hour to go. Remember, 65 minutes will ask for your man in a match. Here's a chance now for Spurs inside the area. Chance here for one back. Good save by Speroni to deny Llorente. Again from close range. He parried it. And then he parried it, lost it, and then got it again at the second time of asking. Good football again. Lovely ball into the penalty area. Dyer playing it in. And Llorente got his shot off with his right foot. A little deflection which made it awkward for Julian Speroni. Good first save. Ball went loose, and Speroni, even at 40 years of age, a sprightly figure, and he made a marvellous save. Now Spurs starting to have a little bit of a dominance now. They've had 3 shots on target out of 10 attempted, but here's Townsend now. Could have had a hat-trick today conceivably for Crystal Palace. He's had a marvellous game. Still Townsend down the right-hand channel, and a good tackle there. This has been a remarkable second half. It's really ebbed and flowed. Took about 10 minutes to come to the foil, but now we're seeing the real fruits of the FA Cup. Spurs making their second change. Off comes the England international Eric Dyer. He's now going to be replaced by former Southampton player Victor Wanyama. So Spurs have used 2 of their 3 changes. Crystal Palace yet to use one at the moment, but they're the team in the ascendancy here at the moment. Kieran Trippier takes the captain's armband incidentally, and we'll skip it aside for the remainder of the game. 62 gone. It's Crystal Palace 2, Tottenham 0, 28 to play. And here's Wanyama getting his first touch deep inside his own half on the left hand side. He has to go infield, and he's looking for all comers, and he's gone short to Fife, and Fife's touch there was a little heavy. That could have put Spurs in a bit of trouble there if that touch had been a bit more heavier. Will Sahar was lurking right close to him, not within a 5-yard radius of him, and he was very lucky there, Fife, in that sort of respect. Well, it's not the Spurs that ran riot at Tranmere. Maybe 7-0, painted over a few cracks maybe, in terms of the way they performed. They did the job professionally, there's no doubt about that, but when you haven't got the likes of Son or Dele Alli or Kane in your team, you're always liable to have problems. And Christian Eriksen, they've missed very badly today, I feel. He played in that semi-final second leg on Thursday. Here's Sahar now on his own down the left-hand channel. He's taken Foyth on, he's twisted in and turning, but Foyth wasn't fooled by that and made a fantastic challenge, and now brings it away for Spurs. But that's a poor ball intercepted here by Kelly. Now Chiatti now for Crystal Palace. A third goal would surely kill the game off now as a contest. Back comes Ward. Llorente with him. Llorente looks as if he brought Ward down, and Llorente has been penalised by Kevin Friend, the referee. I think he's had a marvellous game today, the Leicestershire official. I really do. Well, Roy Hodgson knows his team are just 25 minutes away from being in the hat for the 5th round draw, which incidentally takes place tomorrow evening around about 7:15, 7:20, 7:20 tomorrow evening, and we'll have that for you tomorrow evening on the JB Kart YouTube channel. Wimbledon in the draw, Millwall are in the draw, Manchester United are in the draw, Manchester City are in the draw, Newport County are in the draw along with Middlesbrough, who they drew with. Shrewsbury are in the draw as well, if they can get past Wolves in a replay. So many twists and turns. Brighton and West Brom have to play again after a diabolically poor game at the Amex yesterday. Watford are there too. The 84 runners up. We saw dismantle Woking very professionally in round 3. But here's Lamela for Spurs, who are being dismantled with 25 minutes to go, and now the votes are open for the JB man of the match. Usual criteria: pick your favourite player and hashtag it with the words hashtag JBMLTM. Here's Sahar winning the ball, but he's lost out to Wanyama, and Wanyama sprints down the right hand side. It's Kim Kundu now. Play the ball into the area. Chance on the edge of the area. Oh, and it's blocked away by Paris. It might come by Wanyama, who completely misses his kick, but it's found Llorente. Now Lamela. Now Lucas Moura into the penalty area. Palace having to stay on their feet, and Ward did just that magnificently. Fantastic play. Now Wickham knocking it on towards Mera, but he can't win the ball. Now Lucas Moura. Now a chance for Lamela. Lamela chips the ball in. Trippier on the volley across the face. Llorente can't finish it in the 6-yard area with the back post. And you just get the sense at this point in the tie that it may not be Tottenham's year in the FA Cup. Lovely approach play, lovely chip by Lamela and Trippier. That was a beautiful cross from the right hand side. First timer, bisected the two Palace defenders, which were Scott Dan and Patrick Van Arnold, but Llorente couldn't prop it, couldn't get on the end of it. And the fact that he's 34 doesn't help his cause in any way, shape or form. How Trippier would have liked to have had somebody like Harry Kane on the end of that. Well, only he would know. But it's 2-0 to Palace. But Spurs have missed a glorious hatful of chances to get back into this tie, and have missed opportunity after opportunity. The Carabao Cup final is in late February, and we'll be bringing you that one live on the JB Clark YouTube channel. Kick-off, I think, for that one is 4 o'clock. That's a month's time. The Sunday game from Wembley with me. The 2018 Carabao Cup final between Manchester City and Chelsea will be live. Meanwhile, in the FA Cup, Spurs will not be joining Arsenal. Spurs will be joining Liverpool and Arsenal as the big one, as the three of the big six could well be heading out the FA Cup after 2 rounds. They won't be joining Arsenal. They won't be along with Arsenal in the 5th round of the FA Cup unless they can find a remarkable recovery. At the moment, Spurs don't just need decisions to go for them or opportunities, they need snookers at the moment against Crystal Palace, who have defended rather doggedly. Speroni is the first vote that Panini's gone for. I have to say, Speroni has played out of his skin today. He's made 3, maybe 4 world-class saves to preserve even the clean sheet, as well as the lead for Crystal Palace. Here's Schrupp now through to Saha. Pace to burn, this fella, and he showed too much of that to Fife. No penalty for me. Well, you know what Saha's like sometimes. He flatters to deceive sometimes. He's brilliant on the ball 1 minute, but I thought he went down a little bit too theatrically there for my liking, and I think the referee was right not to even consider ordering a penalty there for that. Before he stood on his feet, stood on his toes and kept on his feet, and did enough there to put Sahar off legally. Right, here's Oliver Skip now for Spurs. Here's Trippier. I don't think will be man of the match, but he's put a lovely little ball across there towards the far side, and Kunde with the cross back from the left. But it wasn't a particularly Good cross by the former Burnley loanee, who had a half a season at the turf last season. He actually played in the game against Crystal Palace a year ago when they lost by 1-0. It was a really dogged and poor performance, but here comes the appearance of Crystal Palace. Their first substitution of the game comes after 69 minutes, and it's going to be Christian Benteke. But what a day for Connor Wickham. Only had one shot in the game, but it was a goal that counted. His first goal for over 700 days. All those setbacks and injuries and all the problems that he's had, all worth it in the end. That goal would have, him scoring that goal would have lifted a whole heap of weight and pressure well and truly off his shoulders. He's had a marvellous game. He's run his heart out. Yes, he's only had the one shot, but he scored the goal, and it could be one of the goals, one of the two goals, and it could be a moment that puts them through to the fourth round, unless Spurs can hit back twice in 20 minutes. We're now into the final 20 minutes of the game. This has been, well, it's been a disappointing day, certainly from a point of view really of Tottenham, but they haven't turned up to the party today. But they've got a corner now. The ball played into the penalty area, a little flick on, and it's Lucas Moura from 6 yards out to the left of goal, who heads over the bar, and well, it looks as if Spurs week, where it got bad the other day in the Carabao semi-final, it's got even worse, I'm afraid, today in the FA Cup fourth round. Pochettino's promising season with his side was in full swing at the turn of the year. They had all their players available. They couldn't strengthen because of financial constraints with the new stadium and everything else. But the season had fallen apart within 2 weeks. Harry Kane injured for at least a month after injuring himself at the end of the game at Wembley against Manchester United in the Premier League. Then Dele Alli fell by the wayside. Then they lost Son for the Asia Cup. And it's all unravelled around them, and how they would have wanted to have put Christian Eriksen in, and I think I have to say, I mean, that might be a mistake, not putting Christian Eriksen maybe not in the 11 but the 18 as a whole really as a substitute, because the Spurs players today have just lacked that little bit of end product in that final third, but they're still pressing and probing. They won't give up. This is Oliver Skip hasn't had his better game, hasn't had his best game by far. Here he is now on the ball, deep inside Palace territory, by the way, on the right hand side. They've gone in field to Lamela, 25 yards from goal, 18 minutes to play incidentally. Speroni is winning the vote for man of the match, and Speroni in fact takes a high ball forward and takes possession. At the moment Speroni winning the man of the match award at the moment, and I think whoever gets it for Crystal Palace will deserve it, because from 1 to 11 today, Roy Hodgson and his team have performed absolutely superb as a team, and have made it so hard for Spurs, but they've also been fantastically cavaliering and entertaining on the counter-attack. They've been a joy to watch, an absolute joy to watch. Russ has agreed with Panini. Speroni gets the second vote. It looks like the 40-year-old Argentinian's going to claim our man of the match award. We're still 18. Well, we'll announce the winner at the end of 90 minutes, folks. Well, with 18 to play, it's turning in to a day to forget for Tottenham Hotspur. Kevin Friend has had a marvellous game as referee, speaking to Victor Wanyama here. Frustration getting the better here of Spurs. Michael reckons it's Speroni, so he's on. Well, he's on for a clean sweep, so 3 votes for Speroni. At the moment with 3 votes, undoubtedly Julian Speroni is the man of the match, and they've all hashtagged it with the hashtag JBMOTM, and they've all done it properly. And if you guys, any other people who are listening in, want to vote, just choose the name of your favourite player. I suppose it might be Crystal Palace, and the way things are going, in Speroni or whatever, whoever you want to pick, it doesn't matter if it's from Palace or Spurs. Pick the name of your play, the player that you want to see crown the JB man of the match, and hashtag it with the words hashtag JBMOTM. Must count. You must hashtag that and use that hashtag for it to qualify. Hashtag JBMLTN. You must use that when voting. Here's Van Arnold now down the line, and now Sahar on the left hand side can't keep it in, but the ball down in the far corner, and that's not good news for Tottenham because they haven't got much time. Time is now not their friend at the moment. They've got less than 50, they've just got over 15 and a half minutes to go, and they need 2 goals to force a replay at Wembley in 10 days time, and I can't see it happening at the moment. I love the stupid o'clock games. Well, 4 o'clock's not stupid o'clock these days. It's been a marvellous game. 6 o'clock start for Chelsea against Sheffield Wednesday on Match of the Day, incidentally, after this game. Our cut coverage of the weekend live will finish at this particular game. And what drama we brought you. We brought you a disappointing tie at the Etihad, where it was just so ridiculously one-sided. Burnley never really turned up yesterday when City absolutely beat and knocked them for 5. But we had probably one of the shocks of the round yesterday when Everton fell by the wayside at the New Den, not far from here. 3-2 in a magnificent game, although there was controversy in that one when Millwall's second goal appeared to be handled into the back of the net. But well, let's not begrudge the Lions their victory. They deserved it on the night because of their superbness. And now, what a fantastic performance. What a fantastic performance it has been tonight from Crystal Palace. Spurs have had the better of things in the second half, undoubtedly, but I have to say the VAR official today, Lee Mason, has concurred with the referee decisions of Mr. Kevin Friend, and they both deserve a lot of mention, plus the 2 linesmen as well, who've made every decision quite comfortably and utterly right. Here's Wanyama now 25 yards from goal. Back inside to Lucas Moura. Spurs have got 14 minutes to find 2 goals and maybe plenty of snookers to stay in this season's FA Cup, sponsored by Emirates. The ball threaded out to the right hand side. Lamela picks up the loose ball. Trippier chips it in towards the Argentinian. Into the penalty area he goes. They appeal. He hits a defender. I'm not sure that was handball or not. Hard to tell from the angle. I saw it on the television monitor on the naked eye. It would have been a harsh one for the referee to have given it against against Scott Dan, the Palace captain. Now Spurs still looking to go forward. They're going to prod every man. They're going to pump every man forward now. They may as well go for broke here, Spurs. Here's a chance inside the area. Might break for Llorente. Still might come here. Trippier will try the right foot. He's hit a defender. And now here's Real Sahar. Sahar trying to get it out from under his feet. Jeff Schrupp, in fact, blocked the shot. But here comes Oliver Skip now with a cross. And it's not a good one. He bisected 2 Spurs attackers inside the Palace penalty area. Wanyama now edging the area to the left-hand side of the D. Infield to Lamela, out to the right hand side. Trippier chips it in towards the far post, and again good defending once more from Palace, who have brought everybody back. But here is the chase on here, and it's Benteke who could, well, wouldn't this be a turn up if Wickham scored? That looked a foul there, I have to say, a Will Sahar. But once again, I think the reputation of him making a meal of trying to con the referee may have gone against him there a little bit. He has that reputation, and that's the only trait I can actually think of why the referee didn't give it. Spurs have the ball on the right hand side, deep inside Palace territory, edge of the area now. Lamela strikes the shot, and it's too close to the goalkeeper, who takes it comfortably in the middle of his goal. James Peroni, 3 votes for him for the JB man of the match, and it looks a certainty that he may well get the award in 12 minutes from now, unless another Palace player, so let's say Townsend, gets 4 votes in the next 12 minutes and ends up winning it himself. But 3 votes for Speroni. Lazio Juventus in the Serie A, kick-off at 7:30. Juventus, of course, the leaders of Serie A. And a substitution now for Crystal Palace. And what a performance. And I have to say, Mela's had a good game today. I've been very impressed by this number 7. Roy Hodgson does have really good players. So Max Miller comes off, and Juka Milivojevic, who's a linchpin in that midfield for Crystal Palace, he comes on and has a 12 11-minute VAR cameo because we've played now 79 minutes of the second of the game. 11 left to play plus any time added on, and a bitterly cold afternoon here in Croydon. Trippier with the throw here. Crystal Palace 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. As things stand, Palace will be joining the likes of Wimbledon, Millwall, the two Manchester clubs, Watford, in the 5th round draw tomorrow. Here's a chance now for Nkunde with the cross, and it comes off a defender, and it's another corner, and it came off Ward. Corner on the far side, Nkunde to take it. Time really rapidly running out now for Spurs. Just over 10 minutes to play. They need 2 goals, remember, and a miracle. And the ball in towards the area. Still might break for Spurs. Palace have plenty back. That's a foul there, surely. And a free kick against Victor Wanyama. And Miljevic was the man who was fouled. And surely the referee has got to call back Davison Sanchez rather than Victor Wanyama. It's certainly Miljevic who was fouled. And he's always... Well... That is a really stupid thing for him to do, Davison Sanchez. Frustration boiling over. I think he tried to swipe his face there. Referee surely must book him here. And I've seen red cards given for Leicester now, I have to say. Miljevic did cut one there to the chin, but the referee has not ordered a yellow card at least. That's unbelievable. Don't forget to listen to Michael's radio show. He's on Storm FM around about 7 o'clock. Don't forget to listen for all your brilliant music mix as well. And he plays some decent music, I believe. That is for sure. So don't forget to check him out if you can. Meanwhile, back here in the football at Selhurst, Palace just 9 minutes away from booking a place in the last 16 of the FA Cup 5th round draw. It's been a remarkable performance by them, but Spurs have had chances to get back into the game, but have just failed to take their chances. They just haven't finished it in the final third when it's truly and utterly mattered. This is Trippier over the top into the penalty area, hooked away for a corner. Jeff Schrupp has had a marvellous game, the one man who won the Premier League with Leicester only 3 years ago. Is he going to win another medal potentially with Crystal Palace? It did come off his arm, but the referee and the linesman were possibly blindsided that. It's a corner now to Spurs. Into the penalty area it goes, and it goes past everybody, and it goes away. Victor Wanyama kicked it in on the far corner quadrant. Now Nkunde, the former Burnley Lonnie, has lost possession fairly according to Mr. Friend, and he'll give a free kick there for a foul on one of the Palace players. It was young Oliver Skip who brought him down, and it's beginning to look like Crystal Palace will be in the draw. Tomorrow's draw for the 5th round in the FA Cup coming up. Sheffield Wednesday on BBC One at around about 6 o'clock. Chelsea will be hoping not to be potters of their own downfall against underdog Sheffield Wednesday at Stamford Bridge. But Chelsea will be aware that Bradford went there a few years ago and won 4-2, and they were 2-0 down, remember, the Bantams that particular afternoon. So, and if it could still happen, Milivojevic playing the ball out. Chiatti, good football again. Now then, what about the cross? There's only Zaha waiting and Benteke waiting, and in the end the cross was a little bit of a disappointment really, but you can excuse Townsend for that cross. Chiatti finds Townsend again. You have to say he's had a marvellous game as well. And it looks as if Speroni will win man of the match as the ball's threaded in and hooked away by Foyth. Now Townsend again. He's had a marvellous match. Still Townsend on the edge of the area. Hooks the ball back, and Van Arnold can't hit them. Van Arnold went for the shot right footing and completely missed his kick. But it could end up costing Palace here. But they need 6.5 minutes to go, and here is Lamella, right hand channel. He needs something here. Trippier, he's onside. There's the cross back, and he's hooked away. The shot comes in, and he's hooked away by Scotty Down. And here's Will Sahar on the break for Crystal Palace, and here's Christian Benteke of all people. What a turnout this would be if he were to score. don't think he's scored yet this season. Here's Saha now towards the area. Whoa, Saha with a shot, and is it? Saved at the near post by Gazzaniga, diving away to his left hand side. For one moment as it sneaked past him there for a second, and Trippier can't keep that in play. Or Lamella rather can't keep that in play. But Palace there, I thought that had snuck in for a second or two then. The angle was a bit deceiving. In fact, he had it covered all the way, to be fair, Gazzaniga. Maybe I made the commentary of it a little bit more dramatic than it actually needed to be. We've got an injury here for Crystal Palace. I'm just trying to make out who it might be. Could be Chiretti, actually. But wow, what a game it has been. Only 2 goals scored, but plenty of excitement, plenty of controversy, plenty of brilliant moments, and a big cup upset. It might have been an all Premier League tie, this one today, but let's not kid ourselves. This is a truly big upset, and Crystal Palace have sent a message out to all the other last 16 opponents potentially they could have, that they're not here to make up any numbers. They're here to take the competition completely and utterly seriously. And I have to say, Speroni, for all his endeavours, I think has been magnificent. 40 years old, he's really made the breakthrough, and this was the first goal. Schrupp with the first effort, and what a moment for Connor Wickham, and then a silly handball by Walker Peters and thumped into the net. Then another penalty ordered against Van Arnold. Trippier took it and hit it well wide, although to be fair, I'll give Trippier his fair dues. To be fair to him, I think Speroni may well have had the goal covered anyway. I think if it had been on target, I think Speroni would have saved it anyway. Looking at it once again from another camera angle. Well, plenty of food for thought for Pochettino. Heavily linked with the manager's job at Manchester United at the moment. Daniel Levy must be wondering now. There'll be a lot of people turning on Danny Levy tonight, the Spurs fans. Why wasn't the money available? They didn't strengthen significantly last summer. They were linked with players. Maybe the White Hart Lane rebuilding project put the coffers out a little bit, but they're in Champions League and all that sort of game, so they pick up massive money as well. They finished very high in the last 3 or 4 Premier League seasons as well. So the money is there for them to strengthen. There will be a lot of Spurs fans wanting the head of Danny Levy at the moment. Here's the corner now. They have a corner. 3.5 minutes left to go. At the 4th round of the FA Cup. Owen Parkin, well done for subscribing to the channel. Good to see people subscribing. Hit that bell button for notifications of any new stuff going on in the channel. FIFA videos or live commentaries and all that sort of thing. As Sterling now comes on for Spurs. I didn't notice that substitution incidentally. So Sterling's come on. I don't know who he's replaced, so someone will have to tell me who Sterling came on for, because I haven't got a foggiest. Don't apologise to me, Russ. I'm grateful because I didn't expect to get the tie, and I got it, and I was absolutely thrilled to bits that you pulled out, because I didn't. If you didn't pull out, I wouldn't have got that fantastic cup tie to do yesterday at the New Den, and what a pleasure it was to commentate on. But what a game we've had here today. And Townsend gets a marvellous ovation. Jordan Ayew replaces him. I'm still trying to work out who Sterling has replaced for Spurs. So if somebody could bring that up, I didn't notice it. So if Mike could just bring that up for me, that would be fantastic. Here's Speroni with the kick. Meanwhile, for Crystal Palace, we'll find out who Sterling replaced, incidentally, in a second or two. Hopefully, from one of my eagle-eyed listeners. As Palace now 2 minutes for stoppage time away from a last 16 berth in the FA Cup. They will go into the draw for the 5th round proper, and from there on in, the next round onwards, we have it to decide on the day, which once again will go into interesting mode for the FA Cup. But it's been a marvellous occasion here at Sellers Park. And if Palace were to get a home draw, it was Lucas Moura. Thanks, Russ, for putting me correct there on that one. We've got about 90 seconds left Here's Trippier. I'll announce the actual winner of the man of the match in a second, because Spurs have an attack here. And here's George's carrying Kunde now. They have to find a way back in there. Walker Peters now knocking it back. There's a chance here. Trippier on the right. This needs to be a good cross, and it's well deflected there. No, I think Trippier was really appealing for that one, but I'm not sure the referee could have given that. Although he has put the whistle to his mouth. Wait a moment, there might still be a bit of ink. Whoa, now then. Well, his arm's down there, Jeff Schrupp. Now, I just wonder if that's a penalty that's been ordered. He's just checking with Lee Mason, the fourth official. The arm was down, in fairness to Schrupp. Now, this would be a harsh decision if a penalty was ordered against Jeff Schrupp. This is an important moment, potentially, with 30 seconds of normal time left in the game. But no, referee's happy. Not a penalty. Is it a penalty? Not a penalty. It is only a throw-in. Here's the throw-in. Trippier takes into the area, flicked on, and Speroni gathers the ball. No problem at all. 10 seconds from the end of the 90 minutes. Right, we can announce the winner now, finally, of the JB Man of the Match Award by a unanimous verdict from you, the listeners. The 40-year-old Argentinian Julian Speroni, rolling back the years with all those magnificent saves throughout the tie. He wins the JB Man of the Match Award, and I think he's the first goalkeeper, incidentally, in our live matches to win the award of JB Man of the Match. Usually it's the strikers or the midfielders that usually win those Man of the Matches a lot of the time, so it's refreshing to see a goalkeeper win the award. So well done to Julian Speroni. As the Holmesdale Road end, he's delighted as Milivojevic takes the free kick that was awarded, and the player went down there for Crystal Palace. Referee unmoved by that, and it's a corner to Palace. And that will do just fine. 4 added minutes, incidentally. We're now playing 45 seconds of the first of the four, sorry. Well, it's been a really competitive, really thrilling and gripping cup tie today. But it looks as if the Eagles fans will take the spoils here at Selhurst today. Spurs tried in the second half, but then first half failures, really, mistakes individually have cost them massively here, and 2 cup exits inside 4 days have derailed their season, that is for sure. Trippier heading the corner away from the right hand side. It has been a marvellous occasion for Crystal Palace, who reached the final just 3 years ago. Benteke pulls back his man, just gives away a free kick. That will be a booking for Benteke. We've played a minute and a half over of the 4 minutes. Benteke picks up a yellow card, a good one to concede, because it means Palace can get everyone back behind the ball. All 11 men behind the ball now as Trippier launches one from his own half into the penalty area, but well left by the Palace defence, who have had a marvellous game. Martin Kelly especially has had a good game as well. So has Scott Down, blocking everything. The back four, in fact, Ward put his body on the line several umpteen times. Speroni with a marvellous series of saves that have won him the, deservedly so, the JB Man of the Match Award. We've played 2 of the 5 minutes, and Steve Parish, a very, very happy chairman, and Mark Bright to his left alongside him, I see. A Palace legend, reached the final with Palace back in 1990. Also reached the final with Sheffield Wednesday 93 too. Here's Wilf Zaha now for Palace. Are the good times coming back to Selhurst Park? They've picked up a bit in the league, trying to move away from that relegation tussle at the bottom end of the Premier League. Now they are now just potentially 3 games away from the FA Cup final, because from the 5th round onwards, no replays. This has been a remarkable afternoon here down at Selhurst Park. The FA Cup never ceases to amaze anyone. 1 minute and 4 to go. Wilf Zaha now just... Oh, even Lamella just having a word or two. He's conceded a free kick, Wilf Zaha, and why he's got the yellow card. Another good free kick to give away, but it's... well, they need 2 goals in 45 seconds here, Tottenham. I'm not sure that's going to be enough now. They probably need about 8 snookers if they're going to get any replay even out of this, as the free kick is chipped in there. Is there a chance for a consolation goal? It'd be harsh on Palace if it was the case. Here's Oliver Skip now on the far corner quadrant. They haven't got time to mess about here, Spurs. Maybe they were too lethargic in the first half, trying to be too integrated. Even at 1-0 down, they should have reacted better after the first goal. It all fell apart for me after the first goal. Then the second goal was just a silly mistake. 15 seconds to go of the game. It's been a remarkable performance from Crystal Palace from first whistle to last. Roy Hodgson should be delighted with everybody involved with Crystal Palace. We've played now the 4 minutes. Here's Nkunda with a cross into the penalty area. Another Spurs corner. Will they have time to take it? Kevin Friend's going to allow it. I think they're going to take it short. We've played 10 seconds over the 4 minutes. Kevin Friend now checks his watch. It's Wanyama now. Trippier 25 yards from goal. Surely the game is up for Spurs. It's going to be 2 cup exits in 4 days for the man from North London, and they join Arsenal are being knocked out of the FA Cup. Spurs are out of the FA Cup at the 4th round stage, and a very big well done to Roy Hodgson and Crystal Palace. Deservedly, in my opinion, go through to the last 16, and they will enter the draw. Another massive surprise again, and the FA Cup never ceases to surprise one here. Connor Wickham scoring after 9 minutes to put Palace ahead, and then a penalty given against Walker Peters, which gave Townsend a chance later on in the half to make it 2-0. And then from that moment on, and then towards the end of the first half, Trippier had a chance from a penalty given away by Van Aanholt, and he blazed it wide, and that really put their backs well and truly up. They had a go in the second half, in fairness to the Tottenham. They forced chances, and Speroni made a double save, in fact, from Nkunda in the first half. I think we seem to forget that as well. He also made some significant saves as well throughout the second half as well. So too did the Palace defence. They put bodies on the line. They did the whole shebang all second half. And in the end, all that hard work and dedication was well worth it in the end, because Crystal Palace now join the likes of Millwall, the likes of AFC Wimbledon, the likes of Newport County, Shrewsbury, Manchester United, Manchester City, all in the hat now, and for the next round of the Cup, which incidentally takes place tomorrow evening. What a performance it really was. We'll go through the full stats before we leave you in around about 3 or 4 minutes time, but it was a really good performance, really. Ward playing the ball to Jeff Schrupp. He went through on the right hand side of the 6-yard area. Ball knocked it back across. Gazaniga should have done better. Connor Wickham will never get the most easiest goal of his career. His first goal, in fact, for over 700 days. All those tough times for injury and everything he had to endure for that length of time, for 2 years worth of hurt, all gone in a space of 9 minutes here today, and that goal would be a big lift for his shoulders. It didn't matter how it went in for Connor today, he got his goal all right. Spurs then tried to hit back. Lucas Moura with a speculative 25-yard right foot rasper just flew over the crossbar into the Homestyle Road end. And that was the best, really, at that point, that Spurs had actually fashioned in the tie-up from that point up to that point. It was a good effort, actually, from Lucas. And that was the best we saw of him, really, in the game. Then the penalty, the ball threaded in here by Will Sahar on the far side. And what would have been going through Walker Peters' head? It was just stupid, plain stupidity. What was we thinking at the time? Referee had no doubts to order a penalty, which was duly dispatched. VAR agreed as well, by the way. Just to reiterate, in case you all joined us late, VAR did double check it for Kevin Friend, and the referee was proved right. Townsend took the resulting penalty, sent the keeper the wrong way, hit it down the middle, and Townsend, against his old club incidentally, didn't celebrate, but put his side 2 goals up to give Palace the initiative there. Then back came Spurs. They got a penalty which was ordered for a foul on Van Aanholt, and Trippier took the resulting penalty, missed it, but also a incredibly worked free kick from Spurs before that also paved the way for them, paved the way for George Kevin Nkunda to try and pull the arrears back to 2-1. But Speroni with a smart double save here. No one picked up Speroni. That was the only defensive blot on Palace's copybook throughout the entire 90 minutes this afternoon, really. Kunduz pushed shot, scuffed it a bit. Speroni made a marvellous save and then had to use all his experience and 40 years worth and his 40-year-old body to make the save. And then the penalty decision here. Let's look at it again in more detail. Little game of head tennis here from the initial free kick from Trippier. Did look a little bit on the clumsy side, it has to be said, from Foyth. I thought he conned the referee a little bit, but there was a little bit of a touch there from Van Arnold. Again, VAR agreed, and I think in the end, even though Foyth made a little bit of a meal of it, there was contact by Van Arnold. Trippier had the chance to pull it back to 2-1, which he failed to take. Shortest run, you always fear for penalty takers, but in fairness, Speroni might have saved it anyway, because he did guess right. He wasn't required in the end to make the save, and what must Pochettino at that moment in time have been thinking at this moment. But it was, and I just got the sense at that at that particular moment, I actually felt, now that the game's over, I felt Spurs may have run out at that point. But they, to be fair to Spurs, they kept on battling. Another chance created. Llorente created an opportunity, got a deflection, and Speroni again having to get his 40-year-old body across to his right to palm that ball away for a corner. And that was another good opportunity for Tottenham. And well, it just wasn't meant to be, really. And of course, more opportunities for Spurs came and went as the second half went by. Trippier into Dyer inside the area. Again, Llorente with another chance and another double save by Speroni again from close range. He had a marvellous game. Recipient of the JB Man of the Match. He really performed magnificently throughout the 90 minutes here at Selhurst this afternoon. He really performed heroics. Llorente had 2 or 3 good opportunities. The little deflection off Kelly helped the goalkeeper's cause, although in fairness he might have made it a touch awkward. But Spurs didn't keep in as the second half still went by. They still felt they could score a couple of goals. Little chip in there by Trippier, and Llorente again lazily sticking out a right foot when it should have been stretched. I think if Harry Kane had been on the end of that cross from Trippier, lovely first time cross, and Llorente, it was just so lazy. But maybe I'm doing him injustice. He's 34 in fairness to him, and he's not the quickest of players as he was in his early days. And then a chance for a chance for Christian Benteke here. Played the ball wisely down the infield to Wilf-Zaha, took the ball, went for the near post. Could have gone far in fairness. That would have tested Gazaniga that a little bit more. My commentary at the time was a little bit more dramatic than it needed to be in fairness, but I thought at the first angle I thought it sprung onto his body, but that was the way it happened. Now the statistics. Palace had 8 shots to 19 on target. They had more, 6 shots on target to Spurs 4. 12 corners to Spurs, couldn't muster anything. Palace had 2 corners, only 3 offsides in the game, 1 for Palace and 2 for Spurs. That showed how good a game it really was. 14 fouls committed for Palace, 13 to Spurs, and plenty of yellow cards dished out as well for good measure. Action areas, well, 18% in the Spurs half, 33% in the Palace half, but as I say, Palace got the 2 important goals that mattered, and Julian Speroni kept them out at the other end. The bottom line is Palace will go through to the last 16 of the thing. And Joel Ward had a fantastic game. 2 tackles, 1 headed clearances, 3 1 position, 1 third ball, 3 only 2 fouls. He conceded 19 attempts but made 30 passes and had a 63% percentage. As for Townsend, he had a marvellous game. 1 goal from 2 shots, 2 on target, and no assists. Had only 4 touches in the opposition box, incidentally, which really made a mockery really of it. And he had 53 touches in the game and had a 78% pass completion ratio, which was quite good. And he had a marvellous day. As you know, on another day he could have got the JB Man of the Match, but Speroni's heroics, he was rightly received that accolade. Well, Selhurst Park is empty now, but the Palace fans will be in buoyant mood. They'll be enjoying their Sunday night now. They're all off home to, no doubt, either watch Chelsea on Match of the Day or tune over to the other side and watch Gemma Collins in Dancing on Ice action. But it was a marvellous day. This was always going to be hallmarks with shock. Spurs away from home. They knocked 7 in the previous round against a poor Tranmere side, but against a resolute Palace side they found wanting, and 2 goals from Wickham and from Townsend have seen Palace through, and some heroics as well from Julian Speroni has sent Palace through to the last 16, and nobody, and believe me, nobody will want to face Crystal Palace if they get drawn at Selhurst in the next round. Well, that's it for a very rapidly empty Selhurst Park. I hope you've enjoyed our live commentary stream. It's been a great weekend of FA Cup action. If it wasn't a great start to our action with a ridiculously poor one-sided match at the Etihad yesterday, where Burnley just never turned up against Manchester City and were beaten by 5-0. But back we came with another live match. Millwall's magnificent victory over Everton yesterday. They were twice behind in that game, the Lions, but came back to nick it in the last minute. And then today, Crystal Palace have knocked one of the big guns out, and Tottenham now follow Arsenal and Liverpool as the big guns that have been knocked out of the world's most historic FA Cup competition in the world. This FA Cup competition never ever ceases to amaze one. It's been a remarkable day and a remarkable weekend. There's still 2 ties left to go. 6 o'clock, in fact they've just kicked off in fact at Stamford Bridge, and 0-0 it is between Chelsea and Sheffield Wednesday, and that's now live on BBC One at the moment. To play 3 minutes and it's 0-0 there. And then tomorrow night, after the 5th round draw, Brentford away at Barnet, the only non-league side left in this season's FA Cup. And the way things have gone this weekend, you won back against Barnet, beating Brentford tomorrow in that All-London affair, and that will be on Panini's channel. Chelsea Sheffield Wednesday in progress. Russ is now commentating on the game, recording it for him to use on his channel. If he does use it on the channel, give it a listen. It's well worth it. He's a very good commentator, Russ, and marvellous performance. Elsewhere, the Scottish Premiership, Livingston 0, Rangers 3. It finished there, and so that puts Rangers back on contention for the Scottish Premier League title. But well, it's been a remarkable day at Selhurst Park. Goals from Townsend and from Connor Wickham, and have put Crystal Palace through by 2-0. He's recording in fact in the week. Michael says thank you very much for the commentary. Russ agrees likewise. I've absolutely enjoyed it. 3 magnificent games, well, 2 magnificent games and a very turgid one at 3 o'clock yesterday for me, but the other 2 that we've done at Millwall and at Palace today have more than made up for the disappointment of Burnley being beaten 5-0 by Manchester City. I hope you've enjoyed our commentary today. I've very much enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Don't forget the 5th round draw live on the JB Clark YouTube channel from 7:15 tomorrow evening. Be sure to join me for that one if you can. But until then, have a marvellous Sunday. Enjoy this Chelsea game, or if you prefer to stay away from the football, enjoy dancing on ice and see what Gemma Collins gets up to if you're that way inclined. But have a marvellous Sunday whatever you get up to, and we'll see you tomorrow for live coverage of the 5th round draw of the FA Cup, to be conducted in fact by Mark Chapman, with Ian Wright and Alex Scott conducting the draws. But it's been a marvellous day for Crystal Palace, and they have sent a massive message out to the rest of the competitors still left in this FA Cup competition, that they're here and they're not going to go very quietly. As for Spurs, plenty of soul searching for Messrs Danny Levy and Mauricio Pochettino and the team to think about. No Kane, no Ali, no Son, no Eriksen today, and they were beaten to a pulp despite dominating the second half. 2 cup exits in 4 days, and now the season now rests on them going as far as they can in the Champions League. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and join me tomorrow for the 5th round draw. But me, JB, enjoy your evening. Bye bye.